Team STORROR is a group of friends that grew up in the south of England that basically share a passion for parkour and adventure.
We happen to have a massively diverse range of skills that allows us to take on a lot of crazy projects.
Places we never would have gone without the team.
Doing parkour in skyscrapers in Asia.
Diving off bridges in Basel.
Running around deserts.
Running away from monkeys on rooftops in India.
Always thinking bigger, trying to be more creative.
Constantly looking for another adventure.
It kind of makes perfect sense for us to set our sights into the gaming world.
There's never been a project that has got us as excited as this one.
STORROR Parkour Pro is the first parkour game solely about parkour and its culture.
Connecting with your mates across the world, free roaming, multiplayer options.
On the starting line with like all of your mates to have some crazy race across town.
An open world exploration game where there'll be missions,
training, doing new challenges,
evading security,
time trials,
massive roof gaps, slides through flumes, huge wall runs.
Become immersed to a level at which you actually feel like you're a part of this sport.
We want to build into the game the most ambitious animation technology.
Taking the motion capture to a whole new level.
Completely fluid so that it feels exactly like you're doing parkour in real life.
People always say, I really want to be able to do this, or I would love to be able to try parkour.
There'll be a process of kind of character progression, learning the skills and abilities that you need.
Through the tutorials, sharing techniques.
That's it.
Our goal is to make STORROR Parkour Pro the most progressive urban sports game ever.
The effect that this could have on the parkour community is similar to what the Tony Hawk's franchise did for skateboarding. And having a parkour game on major consoles is going to completely change the sport.
Yo! Live and we out here. Right, it's gonna be a fun stream. It's not, but, you know, as it is. Hey, what's up, Sacred? Yes, we are indeed. We're sorting out collision meshes. Basically I've got 801 meshes that I need to make simplified collisions for. It's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna lie, for this stream to be interesting, I'm really gonna be leaning on you guys. Because I'm not doing anything interesting. We're gonna need some chat. Hey, what's up, Sudaka? I do apologise, I only speak English. I apologise for my ignorance. That is right. But I'm gonna guess by the fire, by the flames. It's a good message, so thank you very much. Yeah, but Eurostyle is like our actual font for the game, which is why I'm using it. But in Comic Sans like that. Oh, God, no. I'm going back to Eurostar. Anyway, back to work. Also, let me know what the volume's like for music in the stream, because I'm not actually listening to it, so I don't know how loud it is. My eye is really itching for some reason. Laces on. Oh, also, Dado, I ticked off basically all of the easy wins for me last night. So I've sorted out the origins for all of the meshes, so the origin's actually in the center of the mesh, so we can move them around in the level easier. And I've transferred all of the materials in level onto the source static mesh. So that's all done now. So now if you was to instance a mesh, it would actually carry the material over. I've done it for all of them last night. God, my eye is itching like mad. I don't know what's wrong. Barely see on my left eye. Hey, what's up, Luke? I mean, stream-wise, it went well. We had quite a lot of people in the stream. I had good fun. Game-wise, I think Dave was a little bit annoyed with me because I have a terrible habit of, because I play like a player, I don't play like a developer. So I got on the game and I was just trying to do stuff, but I was trying to do stuff where we will have the animations for it in like a week or two because we've got them in the bank, they're just not elaborated. But I kept trying to do things to make, and it made the game look bad, but it made it look worse than it actually is. Like if you go back and watch the stream, it looks like none of it worked, but actually it's right there. It's right there. But I have a habit of showing all of the bits that don't work. But we learned some stuff, so that's good. It's always good. One of the things we learned is I need to do simplified collisions for everything. Because on where I've like started making the level a bit more realistic and like beveled walls and things like that, it's killed the collision detection. Which is a shame. That's you. So that's what we're doing today. We're going through now 784 meshes. We're doing simplified collisions for all of them. So like I say, I'm going to need you guys to chat to me to keep me sane. Also, anybody wondering why I'm not using the convex hull in Blender? I will be for some of them later on, for the but ones like this, if I complex hull it, convex hull it, sorry, I get excess triangles that don't need to be there because it picks it up a little weird. Yeah. So for simple ones like this, I'll just do it by hand. For ones that maybe need a bit more, then I'll convex hull it. And then ones that are super complicated, I won't be able to convex hull because it won't handle it very well. I spent the night trying to work out a way to like accurately automate the collision mesh creation process, but there isn't. Couldn't work out a way to do it. Other than tools that are already out there, but then they all run into the same problems. Oh, I wonder if I got cat hair in my eye. Oh, that might be why my eye's itching so much. Might not. Should probably go wash that out actually. It's gonna piss me off otherwise. Do some more work first. I shall suffer. Do something to moan about on the stream. That one will run fast, so. Might be faster, I'm not sure. Do you know what? mic is working, isn't it? Yeah, alright, my mic's getting picked up. It's fine. Straight out of the range. Character interactions with the environment. Yeah, so it's. Hang on. Let me find a good example. So something like. Oh, I'd have deleted the ones. Okay, so something like stairs, for example. Here you go. So this is a set of stairs. The actual mesh is a set of stairs. If we just to leave it as it is, the player will go up it fine, but because the capsule hits it and then moves up, it doesn't do it smoothly. It will just go dunk, 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 and it will be really stuttery and it's horrible. Or in the cases of like rails and poles, collisions don't work great when they're rounded. They need to be flat for it to calculate correctly where it's going. So you create simplified collision meshes which approximate the shape of the thing you want, but it also means that if you've got like a wall like this, for example, this ledge is actually a little bit too big, but say this ledge was really small, or if it was cut into the wall and you don't actually want the player to be able to interact with it because one, it doesn't matter, and two, it's just going to cause issues calculation wise, you wouldn't include that in the collision mesh. You'd just do a straight wall over it, so it would treat the whole thing as a single block, which means it leads to a better experience for the player because you're less likely to find weird glitchy areas where your locomotion doesn't quite work. It's easier for us because it means we don't have to code a million impossible edge cases, and it's massively better on performance because whenever the engine is tracing a mesh to see whether or not it's colliding, the more points, more of these little black dots that it's got to look for or check against, every one of those is a calculation. So if you can reduce those way down across, in our case, it's almost 1,000 meshes on this one level, you save tons and tons of time and performance. So you need to simplify all the collisions. The unfortunate thing is, it sucks. It sucks to do it. It's a painful job. But if you ever play a game where it feels like the thing you're seeing on screen hasn't hit your character, and yet your character's still taking damage, like if it's a boulder and you're like a little bit, there's a gap between you and the boulder, but it still hits you, what's probably happening is the boulder doesn't have a sphere as its collision. It's probably got a cube. that approximates it. But if you're in the corner, you're hitting that little bit of empty space where the collision's hitting you, but the image isn't. And it leads to a lot of, fuck off, that didn't hit me. When in reality it did, just not the thing you're looking at hit you. Happens a lot in Rocket League as well. It's why, for a while, the Octane was the most commonly used car, because it was the closest shape to its collision. There was the least amount of difference between the collision box and the car itself, which is now the Fennec, I believe, is now the closest. So you got that close relationship between visuals and actual maths. See, that's not gonna work. Because I need that. Do I need that lip? I do. I want it to be smooth, so it's not a step, but I still need it to be. Yeah, okay. Why am I hungry? Just eating. So, like in this case, for example, if the player's walking along this wall, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. If the player's walking along, oh, I know what I can do. Haha! Yeah, so if the player's walking along this wall, when they hit that ledge, so bear in mind everything's got a simple collision. So the character will have like a capsule. So if you've got your player like that, you'll have a capsule like that estimates the shape of your character. So as they step along, the bottom of this capsule is going to hit that, jump straight up, and then carry on going, and you get like a duck, which is horrible. If I smooth it out so that your player comes along and then ramps up here, the same way with the stairs, technically you get a little bit of floating, but it's so minuscule the player would never notice unless they were like really focusing on it for no reason. But it leads to a much smoother gameplay, and generally if you make your gameplay smoother, people will forgive or not even notice little errors like that, because they care more about the smoothness than the actual realism. Yeah, games are nuts, dude. Games are so complicated. Whoops. Yeah, there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and consideration that goes into games. A lot of little tricks that happen behind the curtain to make it feel smoother. It's fascinating though once you start getting into it, start learning all the little tips and tricks. It's essentially like magic, to be honest. It's a magic trick. It's all about making your player think they're seeing something else and just giving them a better experience. Yeah, so like this one, for example, because we've got... If I put that on... I can't really see. Put it on that, can you see? That's not any better. Wireframe? Okay, wireframe. There we go. So you can see I've got this little bevel up for the topper on this wall, just because it makes it a bit more visually interesting. Problem is, the collision checks don't like it because it doesn't have a big enough surface for it to detect it. So I've got to go. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I've got to go wash this cat hair out my eye. Takes for me to do on my own. I think I worked it out last night at a guess of maybe 10 to 15 hours. It would take me to do nearly 1,000 meshes. Because if you think, most of them are going to take about 30 seconds. But then some of them are going to be quite complicated and they might take 5 minutes. So, yeah, it's going to take anywhere between 800 and 1,000 minutes, I reckon. Assuming I worked flat out at the same speed and never slowed down, never took a break. Which obviously isn't going to happen. So realistically, it'd probably take me 20 hours, maybe. So, hang on. Sorry, I need to go wash my eye quick. Yeah, it's not horrendously slow, and really I should have done it as I was making the meshes, and it would have been a lot faster if, as I made the mesh, I made the. Hey, what's up, darkness? If as I made the mesh, I made the collision at the same time, it would have been way faster. But I was it was the typical case of I was lazy at the time and now I've caused problems for myself. That's all it is. Hey, what's up, Don? Thank you, my man. What would be the best way to do this? Hey, do it, man. That's where I got some freelance work from. I got some decent money from that as well, actually. The only thing is like the same as any freelance work, but there's potentially a chance you're going to get ripped off or whatever, so just try and pick someone who's a bit more reputable. Oh, I don't actually want... Do you know what? Maybe a better way of doing this. Yeah. Select those. Get rid of the top ones. Yeah, but it's the same as any freelance work. Nothing you can, well, other than like trying to be careful who you pick to work for, there's not really anything you can do about it. It's just part of it. Sometimes you just got to be willing to take that risk and just, you know. But to be fair, I found it less on Upwork than anywhere else. Depends what the job is. So the work I had on Upwork, which was quite simple work, but I was turning around work in a day and a half. But it kind of just depends on what your work is. Like I was doing quite simple work, so I've done this in a really weird order. This one. I've done that in a really like weird backwards order. But I mean, occasionally you get one like that where your brain just throws a wobbly and then it just eats into your time. Oh, actually, I can show you some of the work I've done. Well, I'll show you the results of some of the work I've done. Phase Duel. So it was a game called Phase Duel, which is a trading card game coming out, with like visual novel elements. So what they wanted was these backgrounds they want from different angles and things like that, which is a nightmare for the artists to have to redo the perspective in that. So I modelled all of their backgrounds in 3D, and then we hand them off to the artists, and then they can just use the 3D model as line art, and they can just move the camera around, get a new angle, new perspective, and everything stays in relation to each other. And I was turning those scenes around in, yeah, like I say, day and a half maybe. Quite good money as well. Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, only, like I say, it depends on what work you're doing, and some places will care more about quality than... Some places will care more about quality than they'll care about the turnaround. It's just finding the right job that works for you. Hey, what's up, Matera? I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Ask away. You guys are keeping me awake this stream. Oh, my eye feels so much better now I've watched it. Can't believe I let myself get cat hair in. I'm allergic to cats as well, and I let myself get cat hair in my eye. I make bad decisions. Is there any release date for the next update? Soon? Not that soon means anything. Yeah. We don't have a date for it, no. I really want to say like we're not that far away because we're not that far away, but there's a lot of annoying little jobs in the way that need to be sorted out first, which have the possibility to bleed in length, which is a shame. But it happens. Yeah, it's all down to what you like, how you work, sorry. Ah, that's stuff. Yeah, I'm not too bad, man. I'm good. See, personally, I don't like charging for time. I like charging by milestones. Because I feel like if you charge by time, you end up getting punished for working quickly. Which, like, you get punished for being good at what you do. That doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, I can't wait for the next update either, to be fair. What's going to be the best way to do it? I'm guessing if I convex hull this, I'm going to get a horrible little join across the middle here. Yes. But do you know what I can do? Do that. Be able to see. I tend to charge days, half days, but just never send things over early. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Days, half days, not bad. I still prefer milestones personally, but that's, yeah. I do always find freelance a really weird thing though. Pricing is always something I've really struggled with. Because you obviously, like, you want to value your work and you want to price high. But then there's so many people undercutting you that if you price high, you just never get any work. So it's that weird balance between pricing high enough to respect yourself and pricing low enough to actually get the work. Which I hate. What I tend to like to do is if I can find one or two people that I get on with really well, that we've got quite a good working relationship with, I'll just only freelance for those people. Because then you build up that relationship and you build up that trust and stuff, and they start respecting the higher price or whatever. Hey, what's up, clown? It's crack-a-lackin', G. Welcome to possibly the most boring stream we've ever done. Maybe even more boring than Dada's coding streams. I'm just making simplified collision meshes. Yeah, honestly, like some of the people listing their work on Fiverr and that, you can't. I try not to undercut them as impossible. It's nuts. It really devalues the work in the industry as well. Alright, I don't need your sass. I didn't invite you here for this sass. What is this? You're supposed to be moral support in this time of hard work and suffering. Yeah, you are. But then, depending on what situation you're in, sometimes you just need the money. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. That's why I don't think I could ever do freelance as my sole source of income. Freelance has always got to be something on the side for me. Because I couldn't do it. Yes, I am indeed, clown. I've currently got 747 meshes left to do. Which is not bad. We started at like 820 or something. So I've made a decent little dent in it. Well, it depends. How long have we been streaming for? 45 minutes. Not bad. Not a bad dent. Averaging about 1 minute. It's the Lo-Fi Girl channel. I can turn it off if you want. I thought that's one we could use. I'm gonna pause it for now until you answer me. Actually. Alright, sorry guys, no music for you. I have my orders. Ah, see. Yes, but they don't select. They don't do like around it. You still have to go like that on every corner. Although I guess, wait, if I do that, ah, damn. And go to edges? No, that doesn't work. If I do that. Yeah, it doesn't like it. Oh, okay. This is a horrible mesh. You are gonna find See, this is going to be painful for me as well. You're going to see a lot of quite horrible looking meshes in this stream. Because I started off working best practices and taking my time and doing it properly. And then my deadline got pushed up quite far. And I started working really quickly. If I convex hull this, yeah, I'm going to get a really weird one. It's not too bad. Why are you... Why is that happening? Haven't you read from one blank no discussion? Close out. We are using Unreal Engine 5.32 at the moment. 3.2? 3.5.3, whatever the most recent one is. Five three two. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's good enough. Convex hole's not going to respect that hole, is it? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it would. That hole continue. Actually, I could just. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I'll just leave it like that. I've created an engulf, which is awkward, but it hasn't destroyed the shape, which is more what I care about. And I don't really have time to care. Hey, what's up, Rogue? My day is going. My day is going. No, that's right. Other than the weather being miserable, it's not a bad day, to be honest. Got a lot of work to do, but you know, it's not a bad thing. How about you? Should already have one for that. I missed a set of stairs. Which set of stairs is that? Oh, that okay. Yeah, I understand why I missed it. Not a bad day, to be honest. I miss the days I used to get 16 hours sleep. I still need that much. I just don't have time anymore. What what mod is your mate making? Or what mod pack? Sorry. 25 and I'm rich now. I did. Hang on, let me check. I did actually kill the. Yeah, okay. The music here just sleepy energy. It's just a long, monotonous job. That's all. If you guys are chatting to me, I've got energy. Something's kicking off my allergies, but. Oh, sick. That one's already done. Saves me time. It's gonna be the best way to do this. More realms, bigger end and nether, some magic mods, but fair play. Wait, like he's compiling other mods together in a pack, or he's making his own one? Ah, okay, I'm with you, I'm with you. Still, that's a lot of work though. Even just making the spreadsheets a lot of work, dude. That's fair. Yeah, it's nice just to have something to do, to be fair. So, Dado is old school industry vet. He's the one who started the project. I think he actually got hold of STORROR, contacted them, and was like, "Hey," because he found their channel, contacted them, and they were like, "You know what? Yeah, we're all about it." David is, or
was, I think, last year, fresh out of uni, as a computer science student, and he applied through like there was like an Instagram story or something. I originally started out as a backer for the game. I got no experience in game dev. I come from 2D graphic design, and I was playing around in 3D things like that, starting to learn it. And I started like hounding Dado basically and being like, "Hey, do you need like a junior artist or anything? Just I don't care. I'll make like lampposts and just like background stuff, like whatever. I just want to be in a studio, getting that experience." And then I hounded him until he gave up and let me in the team. And then once I was here, now I've got to prove that, you know, I've earned my spot. But no, so I mean, there are people on our team that have had years and years working together. Like Dado's got some of his old industry vet friends on the team. But no, the core three of us that are working at the moment, prior to this, hadn't done anything together. Ah, thank you. Do you know, that might have actually been easier just to make a box around it rather than adjusting the existing mesh. Which I'm going to get another chance to shortly. I always got to be inconsistent. To be fair, one thing I do quite like about this team, the way Hits works, the way Dado works, is he cares more about the people on the team rather than what they actually know at the time of application. Because you can teach someone what they need to know. If they've got basic understanding and skills, then you can teach them whatever. And sometimes it's nicer because you can teach them your way of doing it, the right way of doing it. But if someone doesn't mesh with the team, then you can't really teach that. How long did I get the green light? A year and a half ago. Yeah, probably about a year and a half ago. Yeah, but that's the problem, Rogue, and it's the same problem most people have with any creative project. Don't look at the whole. The whole is too big. You can't do the whole. No one person can do the whole. It's ridiculous. What you can do is a section, or what you can do is one part of it or one layer of it. And once you've done that, you could probably do the next layer, and you could probably do the next bit after that. But if you do it one step at a time, eventually you've then got the whole. But if you try and tackle it as one project, you're never going to do it. You'll just end up breaking your own heart before you even start. Hey, what's up, Sid? How'd you get into holding the sleeve? I'm just gonna start. Oh god, I'm just gonna start flooding Dado with job requests now, aren't I? I don't know if we've got any vacancies at the moment, but if you're on the Discord and you're showing an interest and you're showing that you do your own work and things like that, because we've got like a shameless plug channel and we've got a fan art channel, we've got a music channel as well. So if you just show off work you do, you'll get noticed. Just be present, basically. I'm a bit hesitant now to start giving people like a play-by-play because Dano's going to start getting flooded with messages. Fair enough. Oh, in that case then, just practice, train your skills, just learn. Just enjoy the process and learn as much as you can. And don't worry about specializing in a single field. Learn everything. Learn whatever you enjoy. And just make stuff. The best thing you can do is just make stuff. Whether it comes out good, comes out bad, it doesn't matter. Make stuff and you'll learn. And then from there, just keep an eye open for opportunities. And if you see an opportunity, take it. Reach for it. Run with it. So, do you want to make music? Like, do you sorry? Do you already know how to make music, and you want to do it professionally, or do you want to make music but you don't know how to, so you want to learn? Because the process is pretty much the same, but the starting position is slightly different depending on which one it is. I hate that moment when you hit the wrong key binding and you're not entirely sure what shortcut you've just hit, and you just wait for something to break. Is the game all mocap or is some animating in there? I'm pretty sure it's all mocap. We might have some hand tweaking for little bits, but pretty much raw mocap. The closest thing to not mocap we would probably have is if we're doing IK for stuff. So if we're doing IK for something like when you're pushing against the wall, if you're walking against the wall or something and it pushes your shoulder back, and then the character reacts and brings their arms back or hand up, and they like that sort of thing. That we might like mocap. We might IK it. But other than that, it's pretty much just mocap entirely. I mean, even so, I don't know. Hang on, let me pull up the Instagram quick. Where's my OBS? So, on this video, right? So you can see we've got slides, but we couldn't get any of the boys around for mocap session at the time. So I'm pretty sure the slide animations are just David in the mocap suit in his chair going going like that. And honestly, they come out banging because it's still that it's got all the little nuances of the human movement and that. So they've come out. They look good. They look good. Messed around before and made like 1-2 minute beats, but I have no actual education. But I'd like to be able to fully make my own songs, produce them. You don't need actual education. You can get it if you want. It's not a bad thing. You don't need it. There's so much stuff online. YouTube, I mean Google in general, but YouTube has tutorials for every software, every facet of musical theory you can imagine. And then there's also like free softwares, like DAWs. You can get trial versions of like Fruit Loops, Cubase, Reason, whatever. There's a free one called Cakewalk, which apparently is quite good. But I think the trick is going to be for you is try not to think too much about doing it right straight away. Make stuff you enjoy. Get on YouTube, learn new techniques, new tutorials, things like that, and just build up your skill set slowly. Once you get to the point where you're like quite regularly making beats and that, you can start learning some of the more technical stuff. You'll just pick up the technical stuff as you go along. But yeah, honestly, the answer is just make stuff. Make stuff. Enjoy it, hone your craft, find your style. Eventually you'll start getting noticed. Keep an eye out for, like I say, competitions or freelance work or whatever. You'll be alright. Oh, sorry, I missed your message, Sydney. Will there be cutscenes? Probably. We haven't really addressed exactly what they'll be or how we'll do them, but I would imagine so. There'll be some kind of cutscene. Is video production. The standard arm jump video you posted. What's your? Oh, if you don't mind, I was gonna say, what's your username on the Discord? Because I probably saw it, but I don't remember. Oh, is it the one that was like heavily edited? Actually. Yeah. Just yeah, alright. No, I saw that. That looks sick. I mean, the thing is, if you're putting out good work, like one of the things that sucks having to do is like manage social media content. So potentially, if you can impress David enough and do work better than his regularly, I don't know, might be able to take the social media creator position off him. I sure as hell don't want it. Love living close to the office. Are you home already? Yeah, I get that. It's difficult to start. But no one has to see the stuff you do at the start. It's just for you. Like I've got loads of work that will never see the light of day because it was terrible. But I learned a lot from doing it. Do I work from home? Yes, I do indeed. Hopefully we will have offices come in at some point in the future, but currently, yes, I work from home. Yeah, do it. Crap, lost track of where that goes to. Goes to there. Okay. I think generally, like, there's too much focus on everything needing to be perfect nowadays, and it doesn't. Experience is what you need. Plus, it'll get less scary the more you do it. These are. This is not tall enough. People, well, people are able to add mods to the game and make custom maps. In some form or another, yes. Everyone on the team is big fans of mod support, and we've all got some version of modding experience that we've played with. How exactly that comes about, we're not sure. We might have a map editor in game or like a content creator thing toolset in game. We might just allow the infrastructure for people to do their own. Yeah, it's the exact how is still up in the air, but it'll happen. Some form of it'll happen. Yeah, potentially. I have a feeling. I don't know this. Don't take this as gospel. But I have a feeling we'd probably prefer to do it in house, so that we can offer tools to a high standard. We can make sure any user generated content is done, like I say, at a good level or a certain level of production because we've provided the tools. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. But then, like, the accessibility of Nexus mods, you can't understate. So, am I working on a crash course? What do you mean, a crash course? Oh, it's the title. No, no, I'm making custom collisions for all of our meshes. The crash thing was just a bad joke, which is why I've put Lisai at the end. Do you know what? Actually, I've got rid of most of this. It's probably going to be easier just to. Cut out quite a lot of the work, so. Oh, actually, no. Most of these still need to be here because it needs to be cut. Probably get rid of like every other one. What do you reckon? Every other? Get rid of every other. What my name is? My name is Guns of the Future. No, my real name is Ben. But my username. So Guns of the Future was what I used as my first Xbox gamer tag. Years and years ago when I was a kid. And it just stuck, and I use it for everything. Every time I have to make a username online, Guns of the Future. So if you ever see a Guns of the Future on any website, it's probably me. But it gets to the point now where I just go by the name Guns of the Future. This. Not anymore. I used to when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, but I don't play the Xbox anymore. If you're sending links, they won't send. I don't know if that's what you're doing, but Does anyone donate money? Some people do. But we tend to say don't bother. If you're going to, back the game. It's better than donating money on the stream. And if you're already backing the game, then thank you very much. What would be the best way to do detailed brickwork texturing on buildings or on the ground? Like trims around windows and stuff. As in... as in from a performance standpoint, or from a quality standpoint, or trim sheets are generally good for modularity, because you can use the same trim sheet for multiple instances over and over again. That's fine. Don't worry about it, Sydney. Honestly, just being a viewer in the stream, that helps us. So thank you. References. References are going to be your friend. So trim sheet is good for modularity, because you can use it over and over again. Decals are great for one-off details, things like that aren't necessarily repeated over and over again. But your best friend is going to be reference images, because if you try and do it from memory, you're fighting a losing battle. If you just take a real life reference and you honestly just copy it, or you copy bits from different references, things like that, you'll get there eventually. And it... Okay, so in that sense, then probably break it down into sections, into layers. So do it into like 3 sections. So you do your biggest details, so general shapes and silhouettes, medium-sized details, so things like a whole ledge or gutters or like a windowsill, things like that. Like they're different from the general shape, but they're still fairly big features. And then smaller features, so like actual like chunks missing out of the wall, or scratches or dents or whatever. And do it in sections, do it in layers, because it's the only way you'll manage it. Yeah, I don't want these ones. At this point, actually, it might be easier just to connect it up now. I don't know where to start with them. If I make my building, I mean, Specifically, fancy brickwork trims around windows. So, hang on, let me. Where's my OBS? So, hang on. Things like that? Or it depends what you're after, because just specifically fancy brickwork trims. Brick trims will never match right because I need to make those trims myself in Photoshop. Do you mean from a texture standpoint or a geometry standpoint? Because if it's a geometry standpoint, it's just about doing the UV unwrapping right to make the texture line up. No? But like even something like this, it's just about finding the repeating patterns. So like that's a pattern, that's a pattern, that's a pattern, that's a pattern, and then this bit here's another pattern, and then you just do it in layers. Okay, yeah. Honestly, what might be your best friend? What might be your best friend is just studying other people's work. Is just do art studies. So find other people's work or find real life images and just break it down into sections. Like literally, either print it off or do it on like Paint or whatever, image editing software, whatever, and like highlight it in sections and break it down. But this is one section. There's another section. This is how they would do that. This is how they would do that. Because it's always going to be. There's no. Everybody wants a magic button, but there isn't a magic button. It is just going to be. You just keep at it and you just keep refining. You just do it iteratively until it works. Eventually, you'll work out a little workflow or whatever that works for you, that works faster. But it's just going to be doing it over and over again. I don't understand what you mean by how other people do it. It's the same way you do anything else. Like literally the same process. You just build up on it. Like the same way you'd block out a building, you'd block out the fancy bit just on a smaller scale. I know that's an oversimplification. It makes it sound easier than it is. If it's a case of you're just never happy with it, then maybe you need to find a habit of like doing the work, stepping away from it for a day, and then looking back at it again. Because it might just be like visual blindness. Visual blindness, that's a weird. Snow blindness, that's what I wanted. These are deforming too much. You know what? Honestly, if I get rid of any of those, it deforms quite a lot. So. I'm also probably not the best person to ask because I'm still a junior in the 3D world. I know a lot, but I don't have enough experience to like be a master of anything really. Okay. I'll break it down together. So, you've got the brickwork everywhere else. That's fine, that's easy. So what you struggle with is the bit sticking out the top of the arch and just in general how to do the different coloured bricks. So, right, okay. I'm with you. So what I would probably do, personally, is I would have them as two separate things. So I would have just a flat wall that goes the whole way across. I would have this arch made as its own thing, and I would just sit the arch on top of it. And then if I wanted to join them up afterwards, I'd go and retop of it and join them up. But honestly, you could just leave them as two things and just join them in a mesh. The bit sticking out, you struggle in making it or thinking about it? And in terms of the different coloured bricks, it would just be like assigning material IDs. So okay, let's go to remove this to one side. Ah, no, I full screened it. Let me save this a sec. And so let's start with the awkward thing is going to be the curve. So let's start with the curve. I'm also making an assumption here that you're working in Blender, but it's the only 3D software I can. It's not the only one I can work in, but it's the best one I can work in. So hang on, let's make these. Rotating that way. Oh, alright. On the Y, let's move that up. 5, why not? Oh, no, I wanted to move the handle up. It's a bit steep, but so let's make it smaller. Nah, too small. 3/4, not half. Sure, that's close enough. Okay, so then let's do a single brick to start with. So these are no, I'm gonna go through like how I would make the arch. So they're quite thin because just through me going through the steps, you might end up noticing something you weren't doing or whatever. I am just sort of eyeballing it as well, but it'll be a good it'll be a good reminder for me because I always forget how to do this as well. I use it quite a lot and I always forget. So array and then curve. In fact, let's just accentuate the gap a bit. So what I'm noticing here is there is a pattern. So let's set it. Let's go to material. We've got that, and then we've got I'm ballparking the measurements, but they alternate up and down. So what actually might be easier is yeah, Z180? Yeah, Z180. Whoops, I made that way too long now. 12, sure. Okay, so we've got the core pattern there. And then in the middle, I actually want these the other way around. But yeah. Wait, no, I didn't. Oh no, hang on. Rotating is not what I want to do. I want to on the one. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So here they get extended. Be the best way to do it. Looks like probably be best to duplicate it. No. Duplicate it. Get rid of the array because we only want one. That. Bring it up. So this is going to actually no, this is a bad way of doing this. Let's make a duplicate and keep the old one so we can edit this further because I want to apply these. So we've now got that as a mesh. What's happened to my camera? Oh, whoops, hang on. Right, keep the old one. So if I do that, got the gaps between it. So hang on, I've missed a trick here. Okay, actually no, we'll fix it later. We'll fix it later. So we'll do that. I really should be actually measuring these, but no, we want to go along normal. How is that? Is that working? Is that? Okay, actually no, it's going to be better if I build the mortar into this. See, it's kind of just puzzle solving. You try a way, it doesn't work. Try another one. So yeah, it's because I was doing the gap, the mortar, as if it was part of the array instead of baking it into the mesh. Yeah, that'll be fine. That's only every other one. So then on this side, I would actually measure it and get it the right amount, but you wouldn't have a mesh this detailed, right? Just texture. Well, it depends on what scale you want to do it at. If you want the mortar to be, if you want it to be an actual gap in the geometry, you want it like high poly, then why not? If you want it low poly and just a texture, sure. There are easier ways to do it that way. So wait, Hubert. I'll send you a link on Discord for an easy way to do it if you just want it to be a texture. There you go. So you could do it this way, but what I was going to do was molly it, high poly. What? Model it at like high quality and then bake the textures. Onto a basic one. So now it will carry up that. It's weird though because I think I've just got way too much curve in it, to be honest. It's making it look weird. Also dead straight at that point in the middle, which is a little weird. I think I am just honestly curving it too much. I actually made the mortar gap really small, but whatever. But there is a slight mortar gap here, which you're going to have to introduce manually, unfortunately. Oh, I don't have magnet. Oh! Oh, because I'm stupid. Alright. This is going to annoy me. I forgot to get rid of a face in the middle. There's a face in here that shouldn't be here. Somewhere. Oh, hang on. What's happened here? Oh, I know why. Yeah. Because I'm stupid. Okay, hang on. Right, hang on. Wait, hang on. What? Yeah, okay. That's pretty sure. There's. The array again. What I thought was the way to do it low poly was a hybrid between. The general workflow for high poly, for low poly, would be to do it high and then bake the textures. Where you have separate meshes, you unwrap separate materials. Yeah, you could do it that way. Oh, that's still done the same thing. Alright, I'm missing a step somewhere. But whatever. Yeah, you could have them as separate meshes. Why is there an edge there? Where's that edge connected to? But these are actually no, I put that in the wrong place. Because undo. You want it like halfway up that, don't we? Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm making really bad geometry here, but there you go. So you got that. Thing is, for something like this, it would be weird to try and get texture. It would be easier to just, because once you've got this, especially if you unwrapped it at this stage, if you unwrapped it here, then they're all going to have correct UV unwrapping the whole way around, and then you just make that little adjustment at the end. But it doesn't need to be anything fancy, it just needs to be blocks like that, and then you'd go in and just edit the source mesh. And like here, there should be like a little gap between it. Okay. Forgetting all my key bindings. Should have done these at the same time, really, so they're the same size, but I'm skipping steps already. What is? Oh, because it's going over there, yeah. So then now you've got the line going the whole way through it. What else would you need to know? So then you could do like any little details on it, to be fair. No, they've all got a bevel in the middle. Yeah, so let me undo that to make it a little bit simpler. So if I make this, hang on a sec. What am I looking for? Shader editor, there we go. So let me put checker on. There you go. So you can see they're all using the same UV the whole way around. So if you was to UV edit, let's just grab a random face and it'll, fine, okay. Let's grab the face on top, which is that one. Let's skew that in, that should mess it up. Why is that not messing it up? Might be an easy way of doing this. Why is it not changing the UV in any way? Let's do a cylinder. Oh, I know why. Because it's using generated by default. There we go. I was so confused why it wasn't breaking. There you go. So because I've messed up the UV on the source, it's propagating across the array. If I was to take that back to Q projection, it fixes the whole array, the whole way around. So you'd only have to UV map source. It'll project across the whole thing. And then you've got to make your little changes for the top, or you just make that an additional separate mesh, whatever works easier. And yeah, so baking would be if you wanted it simplified down. So at the moment, this is 2,000 tries. So what you would do is, let's grab this. Face. Vertex. Let's see. It's going to be the best way to do this. Probably go that up to there. Yeah, so you would make your retopo, which I'm going to do a very shoddy job of. Do you know what? Let's. I'm doing this as approximations, by the way. But there, so you've got so the original is 2016 tries. That one is 52 tries. Oh god, let's see if I can remember how to do texture baking. It's been a while since I've baked textures. So let's just call this target so I can keep track. So image texture, new target. Yeah, that's fine. We say literally something. It's not literal. Simple. Oh, okay. Thank God, because I. It's been so long since I've baked textures. I was really like digging into the archives to work out how to do it. But yeah, you would retopo and bake if you wanted it as the low poly version. But it really is. It's just pattern recognition. It's just recognizing that you've got. It's literally one brick up that end. Hang on, the checker's sort of throwing this off. It's one brick split into 2/3 with the different textures, and then the next side's flipped. Because you've got that flip, it's kind of easier to do it at the original source, because then it will propagate throughout. Otherwise, you're going to have to get a bit tricky with it. You could do it with the nodes, but you'd have to get a bit tricky with it. This is the simple way of doing it. Plus, using modifiers in that means it's so nice to be able to make changes at source, and it just propagates through. And then when you eventually do need to make custom changes, you can just apply it, and it's oh hang on, by the curve, and now you've got it as a whole mesh. I don't know if I've actually helped you with anything there, if I've just done that as a refresher for myself, but on modifiers. Do you know what is probably quite a good tutorial? If I can find it. Whose tutorial was it? It wouldn't have been 9 months ago, it would have been older than that. Yes, okay, this is the tutorial. Right. So basically everything I've just showed you there, I learned from the tutorial I'm sending you now, which is modeling Thor's hammer in Blender. It covers basically all of it. Yeah, you don't need the texture. So like I say, because you're doing it here, it doesn't need to follow the curve. The texture will, Blender will do that for you. You don't need to make your job harder. If I made that the brick texture, for example, scales are wrong. Actually, this is a bad way to do this because we don't actually want the brick texture. We wanted like you want like the stipples bit of the brick. Might be a better way of demonstrating it actually. Is if I do. Terrible. That's got the lines in it. Let's go. Do you know what? Let's just do it with concrete. Why not? So that's all the same. Oh no, that's not how you do it in Blender. That's how you do it in Unreal. Math node. There you go. They're the same brick texture, but one's darker than the other because you just manipulate the second version of it. Or what's it called in Blender? Color ramp. Actually, it'd be better to do it primaries than normal. A yellow tint to it. I mean, other than I don't have any roughness, specular, and all of that in because I haven't connected it up. But the source is still just a normal square texture. It doesn't need the curve in it. But then the array's doing that for you. You could probably even if you've done like a displace afterwards, after the fact, so make sure it comes after the array. I'll go back over it in a sec. So let me set that to clouds and turn this down. That's a fun one. So because of the order of the modifiers here, because it's doing the array first and it's doing the display second, it's moving vertices around based on that texture, but it's doing it once it's already curved, so they're not all the same. All the bricks are a little bit different. And obviously if you was to make that higher poly, you get a slightly better version of it. But they've all got their own. There you go. So then now you've got baked in variation between the bricks. And when you retopper and bake the texture, that will carry through. So what bit are you asking? How does it work? Do you know what you might be able to do as well? Oh, I don't know if Blender has it. Does Blender have a per instance node? No. It has an info, object info, location, math. So what you do now is texture only in Unreal. Okay. It's the same. It's still the same thing. Because if you've done this here first, yeah. So you could do this and then bake it and use those textures in Unreal, or if you've done this and then export it. Actually, it depends. What does the UV come out as? Because if I was to apply these, oh no, because the UV's all squared up. What have I done? Smart UV project. Yeah, no, because that's lost the curves. Oh, would you have to manually UV it? Well, no, not if the brick texture included mortar. But if you separated, let me undo all this. But if you was to separate the mortar into its own material ID, so if you was to separate that into its own material ID and just not use a brick texture that has mortar lines, if it was just like brick, then all you'd have to do is just apply a mortar material, a main brick, and a secondary brick, or just have the secondary brick a variation of the main. It's going to be hard to find. I will admit, especially if you're going off like textures.com or something, it's a little tricky to find a brick texture that doesn't have mortar in it. But if you was to just take a brick texture you like, put it in Photoshop, and take out like the sections and make like, I mean, you're making a trim sheet anyway, but you would just have the brick part of it on the brick part of it, and the mortar part of it on the mortar part of it, and then feed it into the material IDs. I will also admit, I'm probably doing it inefficiently somewhere. The whole thing's probably inefficient, but this is how I would personally do it, because then I can do quite a lot of detail without having to do it across the whole thing. It's easy to change the shape. Like if I was to just, there you go, change the curve. Like you've got so much control over it that it's almost like modular, non-modular type thing. And it makes it very easy to make variations of it as well. So if you know, for example, you've got, say like you've got two windows, but one's thinner. They've still got the same arch, but one's a lot tighter. Well, you've got this version, and then you just duplicate it. And just make some little adjustments. And there you go. You've got a variation of it. Or if one of them curves down instead for some reason, whatever. So it makes it quite easy for you to go back into Blender and make a variation of it and then switch it up. Like Ian Hewitt stuff, where he sets a cube, puts a texture on it, like projection maps it, and then models around it. This way you're going to have to exactly match the texture and the... Why can't I see that? Because there's a heart under it. I can't see it. And the color to the surrounding texture and color. You're going to have to exactly match the texture. Why? Why does it have to exactly match? Nothing exactly matches in real life. And if you're using it as a material, like you're just applying the same materials, they should match anyway, but little variations in colour and things like that. Oh, so if the surrounding brickwork is a seamless... Right, I see what you mean. But, okay, hang on, let me... No. So this is the one of the things I'm struggling with SPP is get my head around. Real life isn't perfect. You want it to be, but it isn't. Engineers, architects, construction workers, nobody's perfect. There's always little discrepancies, but that's what makes it look real. So the biggest thing to note here, there's a little bit of lining up you've got to do, but that's mainly on like position and stuff. The biggest thing I'm noticing here is actually this has got mortar all the way around it. I'm gonna unsub this because it's gonna be a bit easier to work with. It would look like it was made with the same bricks, but it might not have been. And even if it was, then you're just applying the same material. Right. Actually, I only need this once. The mortar. Oops. But I've made the mortar quite thin, so let's try and match that up. Actually, really, I should have made the mortar around the trim bigger to match your image. Other than me having scaled the UV wrong. If I have the split material IDs in the arch. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, but this would just be a... Okay. Yeah, okay, so it would either be this trim section uses a material or trim sheet or whatever that is the same texture images as that, just split into the brick and the mortar separately, like by hand in Photoshop. Or yeah, because it's too different. You couldn't use this tiled. You couldn't use a tiled version of this texture across this. It wouldn't work. You could if it didn't have these alternating bricks. Because if that's the case, it would just be you apply this tiled to a singular brick and it would just curve around and it would be fine. Because you've got this alternating pattern, it's a different texture. It's a different image. So you would just make a separate trim sheet using the sections you need. But that would vary situation to situation depending on what you were trying to get out of it. Like I say, if this isn't alternating, if it's just the exact same as this wall but now the wall's curving, then you're fine. You just use the tiled one and curve it. Sorry, you just apply the tiled one to the curve and just make sure that your UVs are right. But sometimes you've just got to accept that they're not the same. They're not homogeneous. Like, this has a different pattern, so it has to be treated differently. Yeah. Anyway, I should probably get back to my actual job. That was fun, though. That was a lot of recap and relearning stuff for myself, which is never a bad thing. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. Something's not right here. Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah. I also wouldn't worry too much about matching it. Especially if you're going for like photorealistic. Because a lot of the time things don't match in real life. They are made at different times and things like that. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's good fun. But yeah, there's a lot of variation and a lot of things in real life. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. As long as it makes sense, you're fine. What the? Oh, they're the handles. But so like the my version of that with SPP is floors and pavements. Because at the moment I'm trying to work out the best way to do it, but in real life, a section of pavement in the street has like maybe 5-6 different types of pavement slabs and bricks and that, where things have been rebuilt in different periods of time and a bit's been taken out for some drainage and then it's rebuilt the bricks around it, and they're never the same. They don't line up. There's a chaos to it, but you don't notice that. Yeah. So that's what part of the problem. If you was to match it perfectly to real life, it will take you forever. The trick is to find what you can get away with. Is do enough that it tricks the eye and leave the rest. So one of the things I've found in doing art studies for SPP is that the do enough, it comes from having
layers, like so multiple different silhouettes in like the Z or in like the depth, sorry. So they're all overlapping. So technically they don't have anything to do with each other. But anytime you view it from an angle, they're always overlapping to create variation. So that's like trees and lampposts and things like that, yada yada yada. It's quite a big one that I learned. But it really is just a case of like it's working out that level that you can get away with, pretty much. Which will vary project to project depending on what you're doing. Some projects will demand a high level of detail, some won't. Yeah. Like if you're doing stylized work, then you're chilling because you don't need a high level of detail. If you're doing photo real, you got to find that line. I'm gonna have to stop the stream soon, go get something to eat because I've got something scheduled for tonight. Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. Every now and then I'll go on ArtStation and use that, and there's some incredible work on there. The problem is the work that looks the best are the ones that are like tech demos, or it's just for a single shot, or it's for to be viewed from a locked off camera position, things like that. So you can afford to put tons of work into making that one angle look good because you don't care about the others. But that doesn't work for games. So like, it's trying to take the lessons and apply them. Oh, don't have a collision mesh for that. Oh, actually, no, I'm not doing. Have a look. Oops. To drag that tab out, not the whole browser. That is so good. The funny thing is, there isn't as much detail as you think there is. There's detail where it needs to be. There's enough detail. But a lot of that is really, really good lighting work. Really good, just really high quality textures. And then really good lighting work. Do you know what? The funny thing is, it's doing a lot of the work on that is the leaves. Because they're giving you a sense of depth everywhere. The trees and the leaves. They're giving you silhouettes and depth. The motion blur on the dude on the bike is nice. Exposure's really good. It's really good work. But yeah, it really is. It's just hitting that like
enough detail. But even a lot of the detail that's there is repeated stuff. The arches are just a single arch repeated. Yeah, the trims through the cobblestone. Breaking up the sections. An awful lot of this is down to really good lighting and really good reflections on the glass. Like, the reflections on the glass are making it feel so much more alive than it actually is. But the lighting, the exposure is bellissimo. It's good work. That lighting's really hard to get right as well. Within myself, feels I was a blasphemy. Yeah, 100%. And good lighting's really hard to do, to be honest. No, there was one. Let me send you the guy's work. I feel really bad. I can't for the life of me remember his name. I was actually emailing the dude. I can't remember his name. Oh, is he working on Ghost of Tsushima now? Oh no, there's a character in Ghost of Tsushima that has the same name. Unfortunate. Yeah, this guy's work is really, really good. He one sec. Yeah, so from talking to him, one of the big points about getting that lighting right is using HDRIs and then some post processing. Yeah, his work's really good. He sent me like a whole scan, like a paper he wrote about doing how to do LiDAR properly, things like that. Yeah, so his lighting comes from HDRIs mostly. And then he used Substance for his materials. And then he's got really high quality models as well, like high poly, because he's using Nanite in Unreal. HDRIs are really something I need to go back to actually for SPP. Because at the moment we're using ultra dynamic sky, but honestly, it might be better to use a HDRI. We kind of got lost in the amount of functions that UDS gives you. But the quality of lighting from a HDRI is just, you can't match it. It's so good. Might actually, I'm gonna, do you know what? I'm gonna put that on my to-do list because I'm gonna revisit that. That really might just like, BOW! My L's are it. Yeah, HDRIs are good. Um, yeah. For some you can, for some you can't. Depends on the mesh. So, because some angle, yeah. See, this is where the problem comes in that you can't really automate making collision meshes because some angles I want to keep, some angles I don't, and there's no real way to convey that to a computer. Like something like this, for example, if I decimate, it's going to try and join this corner to this corner or that corner to that corner, which in this case I don't want, but in other cases I do want it. If you're actually going to go under the mesh, I want it. Or if you're going to go up and over that ledge, I want it. In this case, you're not, so I just want it straight down. So it's the tricky one. It's also like, and this might just be me, but it helps keep it interesting if I've got a few different ways to do things, and then I'll just switch them up from mesh to mesh. It just helps keep it interesting. But even though it looks like I'm sort of just mindlessly going through it, on every mesh I'm making a conscious decision as to what lines I want to and don't want to get rid of, what angles I want to keep. Why do I have a seam on that? Oh, I know why. Yeah, that seam doesn't actually need to be there. That was me trying to fix something that ended up being a different problem. But sometimes I don't want to maintain the shape. It's the issue. Sometimes I want to destroy the shape. And other times I don't. So that's the tricky bit. Yeah. There I want that as a slope. Yeah. That's why it's looking weird. You know what, let's just do those 4. Yeah, it's one of the issues with like it would be great to just automate it all, but there's so much nuance in collision meshes that you kind of can't. And you can automate some of it, you can't automate all of it. And if you try to, you're going to end up like missing bits, and it's like this wants to be square. See, like, and then for this one, for example, in hindsight, it would have been easier to just do boxes around it where I wanted, but I wasn't actually sure what I wanted when I started. I was sort of working it out a bit as I went. Ooh. But like in this case, I just want a box around it. It's a convex hole. It's going to be fine. Because I don't care about keeping any of the little indent bit. I'm going to have a lot of these. Yeah. Really, this needs to just be one mesh and needs to be instanced, but that's a later job. Why are you messing up my camera as well? It's giving me motion sickness. Oh, that one didn't have one on the bottom. Where is this? You know what? No, these need collisions. At the moment, they're not used. In the future, when we have ledges and that, we might actually be like on that cat grab and 180 back to the wall. So yeah, these do need collisions. What happens if I convex hull a cylinder? I'm guessing it'll keep it as a cylinder. All right. Oh shit. Um, will there? I don't know. You know,
It's so complicated and it's so nuanced. They seem like really small, easy decisions, but they're really not. Like, they're so... I think the problem is, right, there's no way to generalize it. Or at least I can't think of a way to generalize it. Every decision is an edge case. And, like, maybe that's the perfect use for AI, but it's beyond me if it is. It is. It is. Yeah. But then, okay. So for something like this, for example, so this is a light on the wall. A light type thing. Technically, the collision could catch that and you could crimp it. But that's going to be hell on earth for the computer to detect. So really, you just want to make it a box and then grab the top. If you want to grab like halfway, just use the bar instead. But then how do you define that? And how do you define it in a way that doesn't apply the same rules if it's, say, a wall, if it's larger, or if it's in a different location, or if our system's now updated and we can now handle small edges like that, and you've got to rerun it again, so you've got to re-quantify it all. Hey, what's up, Leonard? Like, I think in my head, you'd be doing so much back and forth and little minute adjustments that you might as well just do it manually. Fortunately, Leonard, I think you're catching me near the end of my stream because I need to get something to eat soon. And then I've got a game of backgammon booked for tonight. Should be fun. Just started playing on a new website, so I've got a scheduled game. Specify a type category of object. You could do, but then you'd have to go around tagging everything. True. Don't know. I mean, it seems like it would be the perfect job to train an AI model on, but like, you would need such an unbelievable amount of reference material for it to work. And like I say, even then, I think you'd end up with so many edge cases that... And also, and I guess this is where you can have a tagging system in place, but then that's more work. Sometimes you want to ignore the rules because some meshes are out of the way, or you don't want the player to be able to interact with for whatever reason. You want it to have a collision, but you don't want it to be interacted with in the same way. Chilling in my house is the nice. I mean, yeah, fair point. Do you know what? A lot of people have been telling me that lately. Maybe I'm ill. My dad walked in the room the other day, and like he literally just walked in and went, "Jesus Christ, you look pale." I was like, "Oh, all right, thanks." So the other day, that was yesterday. Maybe I'm dying. I am really hungry, to be fair. I've also been doing this for 120, 130 meshes now. And I got another 690 to do. Really, these should be... I don't know why I've made these separate meshes. Here now. That's great. How you been, Leonard, anyway? What you been up to? You just got back from work. Are you still telling people to turn it off and on again? And loving your job? Very nice. Oh. I've done with my mouse cable. It's getting caught on something. Oh, very nice. That sounds like that pays a lot more. Anytime a job title's got consultant in it, you're like, yeah, they're getting paid. They're getting paid for their work. Oh, I'm not on see-through. I'm not on X-ray. Good man, good man. I respect it. Don't worry, we all know you're a millionaire. We'll keep it hush hush, but we know you're on millionaires. They're that bad. To be fair, it's pretty brutal here too. Hence me living with my father. Which, to be fair, I actually quite like. It's quite nice being close to family. Oh, really?
What's that? Hang on. What's the average house price in the Netherlands? God, so that Jesus Christ. Apparently, the average house price in the Netherlands is 580,000 euros. The average list price, which is about 500 grand. That 422 you're saying, Leonard? I'm seeing 443 for 2022. So I think your number might be a little old. Looks like it's 500,000 now. Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's insane. You know what you got to start doing? Robbing banks. There you go. There's your life plan. Just rob banks. For legal reasons, that's a joke. I do not endorse robbing banks or any criminal behaviour. YouTube. That being said, rob 'em blind. You take it to shop. Bro, legal activity. Guys, stop. No, stop. Don't do this. You're gonna get us. You can get us in trouble. You can get us demonetized. I told you to. Outrageous. They'll never believe it. I act too sweet, but I wouldn't melt. Look at the smile. That'll get me out of prison. God, why did I do so many of these? Oh, the street police right. Fuck up. Yeah, if I'm going to do that, I'm robbing the bank for myself. I'm not robbing it for somebody else. Not that YouTube, not that I would ever rob a bank. This is all satire. But if I were to, it would be for myself.
Stop! No! Stop spreading lies. Spreading rumours. We got him, boys. Just a straight up confession. Alright, I'm gonna get these lights done. And then I think I'm gonna call it there for now. What? Right. Damn, the ADHD like hyper focus was starting to kick in and then I lost it. I was about to start flying through some work, but I fumbled the keyboard. No, it's still kind of here.
Yep. Well, really, I shouldn't. I don't. Because these lights should just be a single mesh that's just repeated over and over again. But I made mistakes way back. And unfortunately, at the moment, it's more important to just get the collision meshes done than, like, I've got it on my to-do list to correct that. And we're moving to a slightly different style where I just do the modeling in Blender and we construct the level in Unreal, which is going to be way better. But it's going to take a little while to make that transition over, and unfortunately, at the moment, it's more important just to get the collisions done. So I'm doing this, and for the ones that are going to become repeated meshes, oh, I've gone to the next section. For the ones that are going to become repeated meshes, it's going to be wasted work, but it's whatever. It's not that much. Most of them are unique meshes. But all of these meshes you can see on screen are the ones I've got left to do. So I've got 661 to do. And these are the ones I've done. 206. No, actually, I might just do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this line quick. To like, yeah. Because these are going to be easy. Yep. Yeah, tell me about it, Jesus. Yeah, lesson learned. Why's that one so dense? Yes. Yes, it does. And it's always me that it hurts. Well, no, it's because I'm the one that cuts corners, but it's a lesson I'm learning. The thing is, well, I could sit here and I could make excuses, but it's my own fault at the end of the day. I should have known better. I just didn't have. I didn't have or didn't use the foresight to predict this problem in the future. Just should have done. But that's what it is. All right, 218 done. I've got 649 to go. All right. But it was a good stream at least. It's a fun stream. I probably won't stream the rest of them, to be fair, because I'll probably just put like a podcast on or something and just. Oh, I might just put some Critical Role on. Just smash through them over the weekend. Yeah. I will do. Don't worry. You're not my boss. All right. Oh God. All right. Thank you for joining me on the stream. And watch another 1,000. All right, fair enough. Then I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will stream it. Don't worry about it. Fine. It's nice to break it up a bit anyway.
Keeps me sane a little bit. Alright, anyway. Fare thee well, gents. Peace.